To the airport already lies in front of Australia, who know that defeat will see them exit the World Cup after just 2 games. Tunisia's positive start against Denmark showed the potential this side has. Under head coach Jalil Kadri, they have just 1 defeat in 10 games. The team news sees 1 change for either side. For Tunisia, Sliti comes in, Slimani drops to the bench. For Australia, it's the expected change, with Karacic replacing the injured Hearts defender Nathaniel Atkinson. These two have met just 3 times before, with 1 win each. And that's the target for both sides today, to keep their World Cup dreams fully alive. It's Tunisia against Australia. The road to the airport already lies in front of Australia, who know that defeat will see them exit the World Cup. I'll leave our preview there because we are just about ready to go in this first World Cup of the first World Cup Saturday. We are a month away from Boxing Day, a traditional English least football weekend. The World Cup is bathed in sunshine in Qatar as Tunisia and Australia get underway in this absolutely key game for both sides. Tunisia having had a very positive start to their tournament with the 0-0 draw against Denmark. And of course Australia finding it a little more difficult, not surprisingly, against the French. Came somewhat unstuck in a match that their coach Graham Arnold referred to as a bit of a friendly. Quite sure that went down quite in the way that he meant it to be, but we get the point. It was a bit of a free hit for this Australia side, but it does put the pressure on them today. And it's Tunisia who are early into the play. Little ball chipped forward up into the penalty area, still not properly cleared by Australia. It will drop on the edge of the box for Masakni, but he can't deal with it. And Australia manages to get the ball up towards the halfway line, where Dylan Braun will tidy up for Tunisia in on all white kit this afternoon. It's morning UK time at least. And, a blue away kit for Australia. The green and gold has been dispensed with. It's a blue kit with green flashes on it that we see at the moment. Not too much happening in the early stages. The ball bouncing around in midfield. Neither side really able to take control of those first couple of minutes. I'm Steve Pearson, bringing you, as I say, the first of the World Cup action. 4 games in a row, little break in between to give you a little breather. But if you're UK and Europe time listening in, then certainly get the coffees on and get yourself settled in. Don't peak too early. You've got a lot to get through today with 4 matches. Taking all that, all available on this service, of course, as well. Independent off-tube studio commentary of this World Cup encounter in Group D. And Moy tries to play the ball forward down the left-hand side, looking for the movement up there of Craig Goodwin. But the ball drifts out of play for a throw-in. Really down the full lineups then. Darman in goal for Tunisia. Braun, Maraya and Talbi the back 3. Draga and Abdi will be the 2 wing backs. Skiri in the centre with Laiduni. And Sliti coming into the side, as we say, alongside Jabali and Masakni further forward for Australia, as we see Elis Sikiri in the central position, still with the mask on, I think, this afternoon. See the close-up of him so far. There he is, the number 17. Draga has to be quick to defend behind him, clears the ball out of play for a throw-in to Australia, deep inside the Tunisia half, left-hand side. They have Matty Ryan in goal again. Karacic the only change to the side, with Atkinson unavailable due to his ankle injury. Rustic still not available yet to this Australian side. He's described as 95% fit. Had some comments before the game, and those who have spoken to him over the last 24 hours or so saying he's really close to being fit, but just not quite wanting to be risked for the full 90. So you kind of figure that if Australia need him in the second half, it's likely that he will play. But as you say, Karacic is into the side for his World Cup debut alongside Suter, Rolls and Behic as the back 4. McGree, Moy and Irvine the midfield 3, with Leckie, Duke and Goodwin further forward for this Australian side this morning. At the moment, I say neither side really able to take control of the game as Australia try and flick it on through the centre through Duke, but there's nobody behind him on this occasion. It bounces harmlessly through to Darman, who kept the clean sheet, of course, against Denmark. Tunisia looking to advance from the group stages for the first time in their history. little while, obviously, since they had something to cheer in that sense. It's prime time in Australia. Now talking in the evening across the majority of the country. Big audience at home watching, but it's the Tunisians who are largely in the ascendancy in the crowd inside the Al Jaroub Stadium as Australia come forward. Long ball into the penalty area. It'll be headed away by Abdi, but not really cleared. Moy picks it up, flicks it out onto the left-hand side. He goes down under a challenge, and the first decision for the German referee Daniel Siebert is to give a free kick against Tunisia. Moy still on the floor at the moment. See a replay of it again. Didn't be able to control the first ball, Aaron Moy. Second time he got in there and then got a real clatter, really. In the end, Draga far too late to make the challenge. And will be a free kick then to Australia. In a decent position, a little far out for a strike. It's wide on the left-hand side, around about 25-30 yards from goal. Australia looking for their first win at the finals since defeating Serbia 2-1. That was back in South Africa 12 years ago. Seems like a couple of years ago, but it is a lot longer than that. The ball is going to be whipped in by Moy towards the penalty spot. Doesn't quite get it towards an Australian head. It's half cleared as try and force it back in through Karadzic. His attempted pass forward is blocked out, but it's Australia in possession. It's been a bright start from the Aussies so far. They have the majority of the possession. Neither goalkeeper troubled in the first 5 minutes of the game. If you're just joining us, Tunisia 0, Australia 0. Still waiting for the first opening of the game. Both these sides know that defeat is not an option in this game. Really, victory will be key. Australia to put them back in the mix in the middle of the group. Perhaps a little further up, depending on the score, of course, between France and Denmark later on. But here come Australia again, down their left-hand side. Ball chipped into the area again. It's looking towards Duke, but Maraya is there easily to clear away. Only as far as Moy again, who's dominating possession in the early stages of the game now that Australia have got themselves onto the front foot. As again, they try to make their way down that left-hand side. Behich just can't get the ball under control to be able to get a ball in, though, this time. And it's cleared away by Draga up towards the halfway line. Challenge comes in. Referee says that will be nothing more than a throw-in, it would appear. Laduni not overly impressed. I'm not sure if the decision's gone against him in the end in terms of a foul. It didn't look like he clambered on the back of Goodwin to me. Certainly got the header in and every right to go for it. Goodwin didn't really get himself off the floor. I think eventually it has been given as a Tunisian throw and nothing more. I thought he was gesticulating towards the referee's assistant as he wasn't on screen, but I think he was gesticulating to the mass ranks of the Tunisian supporters over on that side of the field. Resplendent in predominantly in red, with a few of the white shirts that Tunisia are wearing today amongst those in the crowd. They are making all the noise so far. You can see from our TV pictures here as the ball picked up down the left-hand side again for Australia through Goodwin, who's pushed out really wide onto that left-hand side, trying to find some space away from the majority of the Tunisian defence. Most of the play at the moment is coming down his side, down the left-hand side. Throw-in taken by Australia. Drew will drop out onto the left again to pick up possession. He can't get across him, but he does win a throw-in. Challenge comes in from Bron, and it's out of play for a Australian throw-in. Not about 5-10 yards away from the Tunisian corner flag, left-hand side. Behich tries to get a space for a cross. This time he does get a ball in. It's blocked though at the near post, and Draga eventually will pick it up on that right-hand side. They've lost possession here as another ball comes straight into the area from Australia. You can see what Graham Arnold has put into this side straight away. Get the ball out wide, find the space, but they've lost possession here. There's a good chance for Tunisia to break, but then it disappears. Rather heavy first touch from Ali Abdi as he tried to break away, having won possession well just inside his own half. He stepped in, read the play really well, and then just overran it, and then Australia were able to clear. Tunisia are a very strong defensive side, and we've seen that in the first few minutes. We know that from previous World Cup last time round. We certainly know it from the performances they've had over recent months since Jalal Kadri took over. 9 clean sheets in the past 10 games. They We're hammered by Brazil, but hey, that's nothing to be too concerned about. With the first or the last side to find themselves in that position against the Brazilians. And here come Australia again. Good ball over onto the right-hand side. Like he's found a bit of space. His first touch lets him down, and he is forced out wide, but he's still got possession. Pushes it into the area. Try and pull the ball across with Riley McGree, but the other number 14, Laidani, gets in. Ball is cleared away up towards the halfway line. Is there a handball in there? I think maybe against Jibali as he was battling for it. Hands were certainly up. The referee is bringing the ball back into the centre. I'm not exactly sure what decision he's actually given at the moment. I see Jackson on our screens, really annoyed about something. Making a real point to somebody just off screen. I think it's one of his own players. It's not a criticism of an official or somebody else. I think he's just trying to say, come on, let's settle it down a bit and let's try and think things around. I wonder if there's a little bit of a message that's just been passed out as well from the bench, from Graham Arnold, just to try and have a little tweak after the first 10 minutes of the game. They've had most of the possession, Australia, certainly from an attacking point of view, and they haven't looked threatening at the moment. Certainly Armin Dalman has been largely uninvolved, as Moedo has the free kick. It was a handball against Jibali after all that. And it will be Moy to take the free kick. He's only about 10 yards inside the Tunisian half, wide on the right-hand side, just in front of his coach, Graham Arnold, actually. The referee is checking one or two things inside the penalty area, before on the edge of the box, I should say. As the free kick comes in, it goes wide onto that left-hand side again, where it's picked up by Leckie. A little back heel down the line. They've got a chance to get a cross in here with Goodwin. If he can whip a ball in, he does. But again, it's towards the near post, and again, it's really easily dealt with. Headed away by Maraya. Eventually clear, but it goes straight out of play. And the one thing that the Australians are doing at the moment is certainly taking the crowd out of the early stages of the game. As I say, the Tunisian fans on their feet, bouncing around, making plenty of noise in the early stages, but their side have not started well from an attacking point of view, at least at the moment. It's Australia who are well and truly on the front foot as the ball is headed across again for Karacic, who's pushed really far forward down the right-hand side at the moment. Almost as a wing-back rather than a full-back in this Australian side. Now playing with a back four. But it's pretty fluid in front of those two central defenders. The ball forward again to Leckie, tries to find Karacic, gets a bit of luck as the ball bounces to the full-back on the right-hand side, which is into the penalty area. He was looking for Moy on the edge of the box, I think, but it was cleared away as Jibali battles for it again, does really well. He's had to go back into his own half to keep possession. In the end, the ball is rather aimlessly chipped forward by Tunisia. Australia will tidy up. It's good play from Australia at the moment. There's a fluidity about this Australian side, which we certainly didn't see in the first game when they were rather more rigid to try and keep France at bay. And score, of course, the opener in that game. And looked pretty good for the first 15-20 minutes. As France started to work things out, get their key players into the game. That made it more and more difficult for the Australians. Eventually they took a little bit of a hiding, but as Graham Arnold has said, not that there is anything wrong in terms of not being able to beat that very talented French side. It's good to see his side are on the front foot, but from a Tunisian point of view, they'll be happy. Weathered the early storm, just starting to push forward a little more and try and press a little higher, this Tunisian team. As they close down the back four of Australia that time. Not really in their faces, you wouldn't say, but just stopping the ball out and not making it easy for them to have that first pass out of defence. There's going to be a free kick here. Challenge just inside the Tunisian half. Sleety it is who goes down onto the floor after the tackle from Behic. There's too much in it. Yeah, oh, little one down the back of the knee. Little grin between Sleety and the referee. The two of them sort that out, get the free kick sorted for Tunisia, but nothing more than a free kick, because there's a mistake here at the back on this occasion. Manaya didn't really pick up possession. It's played out onto the right-hand side where Leckie will have space to cross. His cross, though, is deflected, at least in the first instance. Talbi gets a foot in. Eventually it's cleared out by Tunisia. finding the space out wide at the moment, the Australians, in the early stages of this game, but not really able to find a space in the penalty area at the moment. The back three of Tunisia very well drilled and dealing with everything that's coming into them. A lot of it towards the near post at the moment from Australia. There's nobody really running across those defenders to profit from that, but they have a throw in here with a long one into the area. It flicks off a defensive head. Ayer is there again to head it away. Skiddy will try and get it on the edge of the box, doesn't do so. Leckie looks for a free kick on the edge of the penalty area. Referee waves it away. There was Tunisia clear, but then a foot comes in from an Australian defender. The ball is cleared away. The ball forward under pressure from Karadzic. But Tunisia unable to profit from it. Skahiri in there in the challenges with Leckie. Battle, just seeing a replay of it again outside the penalty area. He did perhaps catch Leckie a little bit as the two of them were going for it, but then Secondary got the ball as well. The referee deciding it was kind of both players battling for the ball rather than an aggressive act by the Tunisian. For no decision given right on the edge of the penalty area, that was. Tunisia, for once, with a spell of pressure and possession inside the Australian half. We haven't really seen that too much so far. We have the ball wide on the right hand side. Draga, though, will have to come back inside. Braun again plays it across, and they'll play it across the back three, just inside their own half of the field. And Australia's press is not in their faces, a little bit like Tunisia. They push players forward, stop the easy ball out at least, but not what you would describe as a gegenpress from this Australian team. But at the moment it's all that's needed, because Tunisia have been really poor on the ball so far. Give some credit to the Australians for that, of course, but just for the moment I think that will be the frustration for Tunisia. They've defended well, system looks really good, but at the moment they just haven't been able to be creative with the ball, or quick even with the ball at their feet. A little pedestrian. Not dissimilar to England last night. Tunisia just look a little bit risk averse at the moment in this game. This can sometimes happen in these second games in the groups stages. Watched World Cups for 40 years as I have. It's not unusual to find this scenario. Australia obviously knowing that they have to get something out of the game, the ones that have to be more on the front foot, but the Tunisian defeat today leave them in a hole, certainly in the group, after those first two games, depending on how the as I said, how the France-Denmark game goes on. Prime time audience in Australia. The Australians are certainly putting the effort in. Well, there's an injury, I should say. The referee stopped the game for a foul, bringing it back, but he hadn't. A hefty landing, actually. It was Duke who went up for the ball. He had eyes on it. He collided with Braun, who again was only going for the ball. There was nothing nasty from either player at all, but it was a rather hefty fall for Duke. He landed right on the middle of his back. I think he's winded more than anything else. You say nothing to it. Duke, yeah, fine, you know, nothing, no free kick at all in there. Just two players going up for the ball, and unfortunately it's the Australian who lands rather heavily, as we see some of the Australian fans who are in the stadium at least making plenty of noise. We said these two teams have only met twice before. The last one was 2005 in the Confederations Cup, Tunisia taking the win 2-0 in that game. So there's nothing from a form point of view between these two sides to give us a clue. Certainly in recent history, one win each in their two games. If memory serves, the other one just a friendly that the Australians won. And it's Australia again onto the front foot, ball forward, bounces away from McGree on this occasion, but he manages to get it to Goodwin, who puts the cross in. Players head up for the challenge, and eventually it falls to Talbi to head away from the penalty area. But again, Tunisia give away the ball. Good pressure from Australia again, as Karadzic tries to put the ball into the box. Brescia man unable to find a space there, and Tunisia finally have players coming forward here as Skiddy plays it onto the right hand side. It'll be pulled back across into the area. There's half a chance here as Masakni comes forward into the box, but Youssef Masakni just never quite got the ball under control as he came across. It was a nice bit of work from Jabali down the right-hand side. As we say, Skiri picking up the ball, pushed it into the path of Jabali, and Masagni in there quickly. Just too many dark blue shirts around, really. Couldn't quite get the ball there. Seeing again whether it came off the Australian last. It didn't. It certainly came off Masagni on this occasion. Ball out of play for a goal kick, which Australia have already taken. We're just about up to the 20-minute mark. And it is still Tunisia 0, Australia 0. Despite the best efforts from an attacking point of view, say, of Australia, mainly in this early part of the game. It's either side have really created a clear-cut opportunity. It's been crosses mainly from out wide from Australia, really well dealt with in the middle from Tunisia, who are now starting to come forward and get themselves a little more onto the front foot. Masagni's dropped into a more central position now behind the strikers, and he's becoming more effective in there, picking up possession. He's playing in the sort of number 10 role, you would say, now behind Issam Jabali. He's picked up by Abdi, flicks it down the line, left-footed. Is that a push in the back? Referee says no, not enough contact, get up on your feet. Australia have given the ball away straight away. Skiri plays it onto the right hand side. Shot comes in from distance. On this occasion from Mohamed Draga. It's way over the crossbar, but it's at least a warning shot, if nothing else, from this Tunisian side. Draga finding some space. About 25 yards out, wasn't really closed down. There wasn't really too many options in front of him when Jabali was making the run through. Just too many Australian defenders around him to find a simple pass into the centre forward. That's one of the slight surprises from, I suppose, from a Premier League watcher point of view, is that Wabi Kazri not in the starting lineup today. Pelliman is on the bench if needed, but wasn't brought into the side. Mejbri also on the bench. Birmingham City man, of course. Slight injury here. Concern for Ali Abdi. Again, just a collision going up for the ball, I think. There's an arm up from the Australian player on that side, Lecky, but purely accidental. Just caught Abdi on the side of the face. The two of them were going up for the ball. But he's okay. Just a bit of a whack to the teeth. Shake of hands between the two players, and play continues as the ball is chipped forward by Australia. They were looking towards Karadzic down the right hand side, but too much on it. Drifts straight out of play, and Amin Darman at least has something to do from a Tunisian point of view. Again, he tries to raise the supporters who are making the noise again in the red shirts of Tunisia in the stands, trying to urge their side forward. They've seen a few glimmers of something from this Tunisian side going forward, at least now, after a first 15 minutes when it was largely back foot play from this Tunisia side. So with that back three, as we've said, Australia trying to probe the flanks, but over the last few minutes, slight shift of tactics and layout from this Tunisian side. It's not been as easy for Australia to find those players out wide. They've had to go more central, and that's feeding into what Tunisia want. But here's now a good opportunity as it's picked up by McGree. He'll roll it out to Goodwin again, who's patrolling the sideline on the left-hand side. Again, his cross is deflected. Header comes in. Oh, and it's in! It's a goal for Australia, their first of the game. And it's the header from Mitchell Duke. It looked like the cross had been blocked. It spun up in the air. Duke managed to get his head to it, and it's gone into the corner of the goal. No chance at all for Darman. It's the first opportunity on goal. It's come from the source that we expected as far as Australia are concerned, because that's where they've had the better of the play, out wide. It looked like it was going to bounce wide from the angle that we're seeing. A little flick header from Duke. And the opening goal of the game will go to Australia again. They worked it all the way out from the back. It was a long ball forward in the first instance, and then McGree finding the space in those central positions, played it out to Goodwin. And the call came in from Duke. It's a really good header. The more you see it on the replay, as you said, the cross in the first instance almost charged down, but Duke just flicks a header knows that he can angle it towards the far corner. First bounce is actually in the back of the net. It rattles into the inside of the side netting. Delight on the sideline. Graham Ardle with a little jig down the line because his side have got the goal that their early pressure deserves. The Duke's goal on 23 minutes, and again Australia find themselves in front then in this World Cup. They have to defend it better than they did last time round. 31-year-old forward Mitchell Duke, 9th goal for the Australian side. For Mitchell Duke, plays his football at Okayama. A lovely flick header, really good finish that, and I say he was the one that called for it. He's been trying to get the ball into him all the time. Is what really of Australia have been working through. They've been trying to find space out wide. They know that's where the gap is, behind the wing backs potentially. They've exploited that well in the first 25 minutes of the game, and they find themselves in front. The goal coming after 23 minutes, and they've got another opportunity here as Goodwin has been brought down. A yellow card as well. Let's see who the player was. It was off screen on that right hand side. It is Laiduni, it would appear, who is the aggressor. Yes, it is. He comes in. I'm actually sure how much there is in that. I think Goodwin makes a little bit of a meal of it. A little bit of contact. But, not the best challenge from Laiduni. So it will be a free kick to Australia. And again, it's almost in identical position from where the cross came in from Craig Goodwin. But, the Celtic man Aaron Moy will be the one who will go across to take it. Wide on the left-hand side, so with a right-footed in-swinger again for Australia. Comes in towards the near post. It comes off a defensive headline, didn't he? I think it was himself who got there. It sort of hit him as it came across above the players in front of him. But he managed to get there, at least. Australia through Matty Ryan, who hasn't touched the ball so far in anger. This Australian side. He will roll the ball back into his own penalty area as it comes through. Take as much time as he possibly can out of this. Australia now, it's game management time for a little for them. Make sure they don't give Tunisia a simple way back into this game. Ball cleared forward. Will it drop to Karadzic on the right hand side? No, it won't. It skims away from him. It's a bit of a battle developing between Abdi and Lecky down the Tunisian left at the moment. It's all professional so far. Nothing nasty in it at all, but it's becoming an interesting battle between those two. One maybe just to keep an eye on as the play develops, as Duke slides across and blocks out a potential clearance from Tunisia. Hobbles away a little, having got caught on the knee. And a rare goal conceded by this Tunisian side, as we said. 9 clean sheets in the last 10 games. So the fact the Australians have exploited a potential weakness for Tunisia. Duke has gone down. He got a little bit of a whack on the knee. See where the studs are there. It was purely as he went to block, I think. Talby trying to clear the ball away. Yeah, and he's followed through. Unfortunately, he just accidentally catches the Australian man who slid in front of him. It's purely a normal follow through from Talby on this occasion. The play was actually stopped for a Tunisian free kick a little further forward. Here he will take the free kick, gets it back, ball blocked out, goes out of play for a throw-in. Ball controlled by the Tunisian coach, Al-Kadri. Get his side back in play. There's got to be a change of focus here now from Tunisia. Defeat won't knock them out of the tournament, regardless of the score between France and Denmark, but it will make it very difficult for them to get out of the group. Their last game, of course, against the French, so they will see this as really as a must-win. You would think a win for France, and they may make 1 or 2 changes for the final game, of course, that might weaken them a little. But beyond that, need to be careful here as Tunisia in possession, but only on the halfway line. 29 minutes gone. Tunisia 0, Australia 1. Duke with a headed goal on 23 minutes. Lifted forward. Jibali will go up for it. There's collisions all over the place between various players. Eventually the ball just bounces out for a goal kick to Australia. Draga is left on the floor. Took a bit of a whack to the head somewhere along the line. Yeah, he was just trying to turn back inside. And he collides on this occasion with Kai Rolls, who only had eyes for the ball. Unfortunately, it was a case of Draga running into his elbow on that occasion, rather than anything from the defender. Pure accident. Draga's back onto his feet, fortunately, and it's okay to carry on as Ryan takes the goal kick. Long downfield, it's flicked on, almost makes its way through, but Bron able just to take possession. But again, Tunisia have given it away, and Moy picks up possession wide on the left-hand side. His attempted ball forward, though, is blocked out, and Tunisia should be able to clear, but again, they can't get out of their own half at the moment. They're a little too deep, the Tunisian side, when they have possession of the ball. As Ladurni gets away, is he brought down? Yes, he is. Irvine is forced to make the challenge and gives away the free kick. Tunisia wanted to take it quickly, but the ball was rolling. So the referee, Daniel Siebert, German official. Seen him a number of times in the Bundesliga, very good official. Very good communicator as well with the players around him. At the moment, it's been a fairly straightforward first 30 minutes for the officials. Not for Tunisia as they come forward now with a long ball down the right-hand side. It is flicked on into the area. Jibali picks up possession, but he can't keep it on this occasion, as he never really got it properly under control. Karadzic comes back in and makes the challenge. It's Duke again. Ends up on the floor. There's a ball at him, and then Duke is mysteriously straight up on his feet. I think it may have come from the Tunisian sideline. Rabbi Khazri was the one in there. He kicked it back onto the field. It wasn't actually Rabbi Khazri. It may have been Hannibal who was involved. Referee's just coming over to have a word with him. And I think it is. I think everybody's accepting now that it was purely an accident. Duke comes across to shake the hands of the Tunisian player. Referee deals with it. We didn't really see a shot of it. The ball just came shooting back across as it went out of play. Duke went down. Again, he was holding his back, but I think he was making the most of that, shall we say. The ball thrown back on the field. It actually hit Duke on the back of the head as he was laid on the floor. The referee was stood next to him at the time, so exactly what happened. I don't think it was anything nasty at all. As I said, the player comes straight across, apologised, and all was well, which is good to see as the ball forward here. Jibali was the one to chase after it, but he had to just check back a little there because it was going to run out of. He was going to be offside, I should say. The ball was going to run out of play as well for a goal kick, but Ryan decided to keep it in for the Australians so he could waste a little bit more time. Australian captain with ball in hand. FC Copenhagen. Cleared away downfield, but easily headed away again by Talby. Tunisia, though, again losing possession of the ball inside their own half, not in a dangerous position. Lecky going back towards the halfway line. Moy picks up possession. Challenge comes in rather hefty. It is going to be a free kick. Again, the referee right on it. Bron came in for the challenge on McGree. But, nothing more than a free kick, quite rightly given. McGree is back up onto his feet at least. No damage for him. A free kick taken short on this occasion. Man's back into the play as Lecky makes his way down the right-hand side. His attempted cross is charged down. They've gone behind for a corner. It just disappeared off our screen for a moment there as the Melbourne man, Lecky, tried to get it in. It has gone out for a set-piece opportunity for Australia. Then they lead by a goal to nil. 33 minutes gone. Tunisia 0, Australia 1, and well-deserved lead for the Australians so far. Very impressive first 30 minutes from them, both from an attacking and from a defensive point of view. And Tunisia strong defensively as always, but struggling at the moment really to get any kind of foothold in this game. We haven't seen a shot at all really from them, just the one from Draga that went well over the crossbar. Other than that, that's all, as Australia take the corner kick then towards the near post, but a couple of Australian players getting in each other's way in the end. The final touch did come off Jackson Irvine, but it's out of play for a goal kick. Wasted opportunity again. That is one thing that we have seen, a lot of play towards the near post from this Australian side. But, most of that been easy for Tunisia to deal with. Very strong defensive three that they have, really good defensive unit through those central positions. But Australia have unlocked the door at least once. If it stays 1-0, perfectly happy with that from an Australian point of view. But bang in the middle of the group. We're heading into that final game against Denmark. France and Denmark later on. We'll mark your card for the games coming up in a moment or two if you have a break in play before the break, as Tunisia get away. There would have been a foul, but the referee has played an advantage because Tunisia are in possession. They've been forced back towards the halfway line, at least temporarily. Challenge comes in, will be a free kick this time. Lecky catching the ankles on this occasion of Masakni, who's really been able to get into this game. He's in possession now. He's gone a little deeper to try and influence things. As we said, he kind of dropped into a number